So Gina, 2018 Tahoe, air conditioning dilemma. How long have you been dealing with it, first off?
In January.
This year?
Yes, of this year. I was looking for a bigger car, and a few popped up in Provo. They said everything works great, it's been inspected. So I paid for it, drove, went 2 exits, and called them and said there's something not right. Like, it was swaying. None of the USB ports work, none of the electrical stuff. Bring it in, we'll get it taken care of. We'll get it all fixed, no problems. So I drive the car to Mount Pleasant, shit's falling apart. The transmission blows. And I called them again, and I was like, what piece of shit did you sell me?
Right. How long did it take you to get it fixed?
A month.
Okay.
So it was with them a little over a month.
Okay.
So I've owned the car for 1 month and 2 weeks
And
at this
you've driven
point.
it a couple of days.
I mean, like, yeah,
Okay.
a matter of like 3 days
Okay.
total.
You're making payments, which is lovely.
Yeah, so he got the transmission fixed. We're just waiting for the warranty company, but the problem is that it wasn't pre-authorized. Did you call the warranty company? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you said that you were going back and forth with them. At this point, I'm just like,
That's not your job.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to authorize them to work on the car, but if they're going through the warranty company, we do it all the time.
Well,
and we're the ones that get the authorization
yes.
from the warranty.
He said, well, we will cover half of the cost.
Oh, geez.
We called the mechanics and we said, who authorized you to fix the transmission?
Right.
He said, the dealership did. Are all the things fixed? I gave you a list. Nothing was fixed.
And this has just been recently, within the last month or two?
Yeah.
So now we saw it like, what, a couple weeks ago for an air conditioning issue?
We have somebody that we just stop in every once in a while, a shop down the street from us. The AC wasn't working. AC is like far beyond what I understand of the mechanics of it, how it works. All I know is that when it doesn't work, you usually go and get it recharged, and it usually helps. So we took it down the street. He knows my family. So at this point, I'm just aching for trust. I tell him what the issue is. Well, let's recharge it, you know, see how it goes. So it lasts 1 week.
An air conditioning system has Freon in it, whether it's R134, R12, there's all kinds of different blends of Freon, but it basically, it looks like this. It's invisible. You can't see it. So when it leaks, you have no idea where it went. I mean, sometimes you can find an oily film on a hose connection or, you know, like a hose crimp or something like that. But basically, you have no idea where it goes. Now, if he doesn't have the equipment for it, what he did is he just got a can of it and topped it off. Topping off an air conditioning system like that without actually evacuating the system and then recharging it is like thinking, hey, I have low oil pressure. I'm just going to take and add 3 quarts of oil. I'm not going to pull the dipstick. I don't want to add the right amount of oil. I want to add I'm just going to go with 3 quarts. And then if the light goes off, I think I'm right. That's what just charging an air conditioning system does. It's wrong. It's not the right way to do it, but a lot of people do it that way. But that's why it's wrong. It's the same thing as just, you know, okay, I think I got enough oil in there. You know? So you have to the way to do it is you have to evacuate the system. You weigh how much you got out. So if you draw out a pound and it takes a pound and a half, you knew that you were a half a pound low, you add another half a pound to it. That's the proper way to do it. That's why he couldn't do it. He didn't have a machine to actually tell you, you know, put the right amount in there. You brought it to me, I think about, what, 2 weeks ago, and we did an evacuate and recharge. Charged it up at Blue Coal for, what, 2 weeks, and now 10 days? Okay. An air conditioning system, they're all built the same. And I'm going to draw a little picture here for you. We're going to draw the AC compressor. It's a closed loop system. So on the compressor, you have 2 lines. You have a high side hose that goes to the condenser. It's in front of the radiator. Okay, then out of the condenser, you have another line. This is the firewall of the car. And this is you inside the car. Here's the steering wheel and you're driving the steering wheel. I'm not an artist, okay? So inside the car is what they call an evap core, an evaporator core. And it's a small little radiator, so we're gonna do like that. It's inside behind the firewall. It's in the air box. It's with the air's blowing across and it blows on your face, okay? And then this has got a line that comes out of it, and then the line goes back to the compressor. Now there's a few little components in between, like a receiver dryer, but basically this is the system. And it's closed loop because you're sucking the Freon into the low side. You're building pressure with it with a compressor, and you're pumping it out and it's coming out under high pressure, going to the condenser, cooling that off, going to the evaporator core, removing heat in the cap. Okay, so here's what we did. When you brought it to us the first time, we did an evacuate and recharge. We charged the system up correctly, and we also injected an ultraviolet dye. And in that dye, I'm going to show you here in a minute, in that dye you'll see under an ultraviolet light it's green, it's really fluorescent. And we do that, we inject that dye so that it circulates in the system with the gas. It just circulates around. So then when it leaks, instead of you got nothing, when it leaks out, it's going to leave a residue of that dye. In any air conditioning system, there's about 20 different leak sites that are possible. The connections, the connections in between, like the dryer, the receiver dryer and things like that. And then of course, the hoses themselves, the flexible hoses that leak through there. So this isn't rocket science, but I'll finish up here. So at this point, what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna walk you out there, we're gonna look from the firewall forward. We're gonna look at the connections as best we can, inspect the hoses, inspect the condenser for any oil residue or any of this ultraviolet dye. If we do not have any visual leaks from the firewall forward, we then, by assumption, the evaporator core is leaking. I cannot inspect the evaporator core because it's hidden in the dash. I've got to tear the dash out to get to the thing. So it's kind of like by process of elimination, by looking at what we can look at, we say, okay, we've either got a leak out here. This is where you've got 128,000 miles on the car. This is where it gets kind of, this is where a good shop needs to kind of tell you the possibility of bad news. We could find a leak here, and we might not find a leak. We might not find anything from the firewall forward. Then, by process of elimination, I'm going to say, okay, it's your evaporator core. We pull the evaporator core out, we take it into a dark room, we look at it, and usually there's pinholes in the core, and it's leaking through there. That's what we find. So then we'd replace that evaporator core. We'd evacuate it and charge it up. But this is the thing that customers, I guess I feel like an oncologist now. We've taken care of the tumor that we have, but I haven't replaced the whole system.
Sure.
I've still got a client that's got a new kidney, but his heart and his lungs and everything else are old, 128,000 miles. And they could start leaking too in the future, so this could turn into, I fix it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, 90% of the time, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. But sometimes, person will come back another couple of months and we check it and it's low again, and you're like, oh my gosh. So then we start inspecting, and but let's go out, let's go see if we can find some leaks. This is the machine that the other shop probably didn't have. There's different ones. You have to have different ones for different freons.
There, sir.
Okay. This is a low side line, this is a high side line.
Okay.
That junction block right there that's the firewall, all that silver. That junction block right there is the connection, and the evaporator core is inside the car.
Okay.
So what we want to do, this thing has rear air conditioning too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So see how this line here is going back underneath the car?
Yeah.
So so that's the big one, and then the small one that goes back there, oh, it's right here. See that little line right there?
Yeah.
So we're checking all these connections, and this part here, my experience tells me that's not a leak. Did you check the rear connections at the evap core, Kyle?
Yeah.
And they're dry?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we, let's pop this grill off here real quick and see. Here's the problem that any mechanic is faced with. Access to see the components. You got to disassemble stuff. When I was talking to you in there, I didn't know that you have 2 evaporator cores. So these lines tee off, and I've showed you where the tees are. So these lines tee off, I just tee them off, and they go to the rear of the car. There's a second evap core, and there's a fan blowing across that one. We're going to inspect everything that we can find visually. Right now we're trying to access the front condenser. What I want to do before I start condemning stuff that I can't see, I want to find as much stuff that's easily to see and make sure that I don't have any leaks.
Okay.
You don't want to come up. like it has a little lock tab. So I'm hoping you don't have to take off the bottom to get that off.
Yeah, this is actually good. I'm glad you're here because you can see our dilemma. To be able to look at all the connections and the components, there's work involved here, and the actual news is that costs money. You're going to have to be charged for that in order to inspect all this stuff. Let's take this car up in the air. So he's started to try to look at your rear evaporator core. Mm-hmm. That core is inside that housing there, but you know, we can't see anything. The core itself is inside all that plastic housing, so we're gonna remove all this crap to get to it. But right now I wanna just check our connections underneath the car. Okay, so because you've also got heater hoses. So these bigger hoses here,
yeah, these
are the heater hoses, but the metal hoses here, those are the AC lines. Yeah. Well, you did get new shocks on here.
Yep.
They look like new shocks.
They are.
This might be one of your leak sites, Gina.
Okay.
Right here. Do you see up here where the tip of my screwdriver is?
Yeah.
See that fluorescence on there?
Yeah.
And some of this on these seams?
Yeah.
This is making me think that is one of your leak sites because that is a connection point right there.
Okay.
It would be sure nice if you had like a major, but I mean, it did take, 2 weeks for it to leak out.
Yeah.
Under high pressure. The thing that's going on here though, this is going to be so expensive. So expensive to replace these AC lines and then reseal, take that evaporator core out. And then I still don't know. What I'm trying to tell you is I don't see any like, oh yeah, this is the big leak site.
Right.
We would have caught that within when we first charged it up, because we always, when we charge them, we do this preliminary inspection. We don't tear things apart like the grill, but we quickly look at everything we can. I've got to disassemble it to even see if I'm worried about the condenser. Normally, the leak is external because it's more exposed to the environment. How about the compressor? Did we get the front? Is it on the top or the bottom of this thing?
Bottom left.
Okay.
The same ports are dry, front clutch is dry.
Did you have to pull off the shield?
You can see it from up top.
Can you?
I could pull up the shield if we needed to, but.
So let's pull off this shield here real quick. Okay, so this is the AC compressor. Okay, and then these lines here, these ones I'm putting my hand on, those are some of the air conditioning lines that hook to the compressor, and you can kind of see where the junction block is. Like if it was the front seal on the compressor leaking, you would have a trail of it. And then the one thing that I really want to look at is exposed. I'd have to remove the radiator to do it. The condenser is like, it's up in here, hours involved just to even get at it.
So what do we do?
Well, this is the tough part. I don't feel comfortable selling you evaporator cores till I look at this condenser. And the only reason I would sell you the evaporator cores is I have to be confident that I have no external leaks. I'll just tell you this right here on camera. This could easily be thousands of dollars. I'm guessing without looking up the labor, but for what I know it is to access this condenser. I mean, if we pull the condenser out and find a leak on that, then that's what we'd do. We'd say, oh, let's just put a condenser in it, then we got to do another evacuate and recharge, and then we're going to do we're going to sit around and do a laying on of hand and pray on the car that we have no other components they're going to start leaking. This truly is one of the hardest things that I have to explain to a customer, that okay, we had this leaking, so we replaced that one new component, but I put one new component on a car that's got 130,000 miles on it, and the other components are that old. So it's like saying, it's an oncologist saying, look, we got most of the tumor. We think you'll be okay, but we're going to check on you in 6 months. And then we're going to do blood work on you, and it might come back. The next step would be for us to access the condenser. And I'd have to have Donald give you a quote on that, because I don't see any leaks here that is like, oh,
other than
booyah.
That one.
Well, that one in the back, that's so minor. I mean, there's a little bit there, but it's hard to tell because, there's a lot of things that are fluorescent. You can see that,
Yeah.
That's what I'd be after. That's a big splat of dye. I'm not seeing it. See that? That's what we're looking for. And I don't have anything that's showing me that. And you're going to be here all day for me to pull this apart and check this out. Let's have Donald get you a price on what it's going to cost to access that front condenser. I'm sorry that I don't have better news for you. because you've been through the grinder. You have been, and this is a hard thing for a shop to get a customer when they've already been so abused. We want to stop the abuse to you here, but.
And they didn't pay the warranty company. So we have to pay for the warranty again.
There is a division of consumer protection that can help you with that. It's the state of Utah.
Okay.
You can just look them up online.
Okay.
Division of Consumer Protection. And they have an insurance claim division.
Okay.
For exactly that problem. Been there, done that.